Viewers, if you ever pay attention, we are not as close to ourselves as Allah is to us. We might be strangers to ourselves, but He is our own. He is truly ours, while we might be strangers to ourselves. Our own desires, wishes, aspirations, our anger, our hatreds, grudges, our commanding self. This self might not be us, it might be a stranger to us, but Allah is not a stranger. He is our own. In this regard, He is so close that He is not visible. As Hafiz Shirazi said, there is nothing between the lover and the beloved. He said, the veil is your own self, Hafiz. Rise above yourself. It means that there is nothing between Allah and His servant, between the lover and the beloved. If there is an obstacle, it is you yourself. Who is the obstacle, Hafiz? Your own veil is in the way, so move it aside. The first point is the extreme closeness, which is why we cannot see Allah. He is very close. Those whom I was searching for in the heavens and the earth turned out to be within me. He is very close among the inhabitants of the secluded chamber of the heart. How can the earth and sky encompass your vastness? It is my heart where you can reside. So He dwells in our hearts and Himself says, I am with those whose hearts are broken. Allama also said that if it is broken, it is dearer in the eyes of the mirror maker. The more broken the heart is, the closer it comes. So the first point is about closeness. The second point is about some system. There are many things in the world that we cannot see because our vision is weak. We cannot see the atom because the level of self-sight required for it is not inherently present. We see many things with the help of a microscope, but we cannot see them with the naked eye. We cannot see the soul. We cannot see the air. There are many things we see with the help of a microscope, but cannot see with the naked eye. We cannot see the soul. We cannot see the air. We feel pain, but cannot see it. There are many things that are not visible to us. Everyone's laps are filled, but the giver is not visible. You listen to the telephone. You hear the voice, but the speaker is not visible. They are beyond the boundary of perception. So it is not necessary for everything to be visible. Yes, there is hope. They are sitting with this hope that they will meet, see, and behold them. But in this world, where we have been given this limited body, a limited life, limited five senses, seeing them there. Hello? Assalamu alaikum. I was saying that in this world, within the system of our limited five senses, we cannot see material things, we cannot see atoms, nor can we see the electrons and protons moving, dancing, and jumping inside the atom. How can we see Allah? But there is one thing for sure, that He certainly appears through the manifestations of His power. It becomes prominent in the manifestations of nature. He said that the lack of concealment is such that the splendor is evident in every particle, And the mystery is that the form is still unseen. So do not rush to see it. The verses of Allama also come to mind, in which he narrates the dialogue between the painting and the painter. Now, I don't remember it completely, but it is something like this. The painting said to the painter, "Your display is from the house, from my skill. But how unfair it is that you are hidden from my sight. Beyond this, there is something such that knots are visible to the discerning eye. But what happened to the spark with worldliness, looking at pain, sorrow, burning, and fervor? So, O naive one, be aware, in this world, we will rely on the news. And with hope in our hearts, we will move towards it. The destination is the same. Our ultimate goal is the true beloved. It is to him that we must go, and it is him we must see. Our entire life is to be spent there, going to him. So why won't it be visible? But a little patience is needed. The question that has come before me is somewhat like this. Is the concept of God that Islam presents the same as in other religions? Or is Islam's concept different from the concepts in other religions and faiths? If it is different, then how much? And if it is exactly the same, then how much? And if there is a difference, then why? The point is that the concept of God is the same in all religions. All the religions that have come, the prophets brought them, and it is God himself who sent all the prophets. All the prophets presented the same concept of God. There is no difference in it. In this regard, all the religions that have come are essentially one religion. The truth and the great reality are the same. However, over time, some things changed and deteriorated, which is why even the concept of God has been affected. Among different nations, when a certain period had passed since their religion was introduced, some changes occurred in it. They altered and documented it. Now you can see that in various religions, in some, the concept of God is that of a familial God, the God of one family who only supports that family. There is also the concept of God that he created the universe in 6 days, and for 6 days he was very busy, and on the 7th day he was exhausted and took a rest. This is also a concept of God that he gets tired. One concept of God is that he has children, his daughters. These things are found in different contexts, and they are mentioned in the Quran. Another concept of God is that he is very logical in nature, a supreme commander, and there is a lot of strictness in his temperament. For example, this concept of God suggests that he is the embodiment of love, and then intends to pass on his powers to his son. This is also a concept of God. There is also a concept of God where people have molded him into millions of avatars and idols. In one context, the concept of God is that the relationship between the servant and God is like that of a father and son, where God is referred to as the Father. If you come to India in a particular context, the concept of God is that of a servant and son, the concept of God and servant, the concept of husband and wife. If you go and see, you will find eternal brides and men wearing bangles. The Sufi gentlemen there, who are adherents of that religion, what is this concept? What is this eternal bride? They consider themselves to be the wives of God. There is only God in the Zoroastrian religion. The God of evil is separate. The God of evil is separate. This is Yazda, that is Ahriman. So in different religions, the concepts of God are distinct, but this is not because the prophets who brought these religions made any mistakes. No, it is because people were negligent in preserving it. They could not keep it safe, and it got altered and changed. The greatest achievement of Islam is that it has presented the concept of Allah in an extremely clear manner, and it has provided exactly the same concept that all the prophets brought. The true excellence of Islam is that it has remained preserved. There's no possibility of change in it. There's no possibility of alteration. Now, the concept of Allah in Islam is a very significant matter. I will recite a few verses, and God willing, I will clarify it before you. But one very important thing is that, like other religions, in our context as well, a relationship of love between God and the servant is described. It is said that God is love in our context as well. Even when Maula Fazl Muhammad Ganj Muradabadi translates the word Allah into the Hindi of his time, it is a very beautiful translation, which I find very endearing. He translates Allah as Manmohan, meaning the beloved of hearts. The concept of Muhammad is also present in our context, but a very common notion is that we have the concept of Muhammad similar to the soul, which is found in the Quran as Hanan. Hanan is used for Muhammad, just as other words are used for the Father, or the word Wadud is used for Allah, meaning the loving one, friend, dear. And there are many words of this kind. The word Ra'uf is used, and Rafat refers to a father's love. However, an important point is that in Islam, love is not expressed in terms of physical relationships. God is never referred to as a father, nor is Allah ever called a husband. The relationship between Allah and His servant is not that of a husband and wife, nor is it that of a father and son. It is far superior to these relationships, much higher. And it is also a relationship of love, compassion, and care. However, there is no mention of physical relationships. It has been placed far above them. Yes, now the concept of Allah that is present, coincidentally, in my book, The Existence of God and Monotheism, I have often discussed this. We have such a book, and in it, the Quranic concept of God is present. In it, see the command, Allah, there is no deity except Him, the ever-living, the sustainer of existence. Neither drowsiness overtakes Him nor sleep. Due to reading in Arabic, I will only read the translation. There is no worship except for Allah. He alone is worthy of worship. He is the one who lives, and everyone else lives by His support. He is the entity that is the source of life, the origin, who is alive by Himself, and no one has granted Him life. Thus, He is the entity that exists by Himself, and no one else has established Him. Now, if anything in the world or the universe exists, it is because of Allah's sustaining power, meaning He is self-existing and the one who sustains everything. Al-Hayy, Al-Qayyum, the giver of life and the sustainer. To Him belongs creation and command. Look, He is the one who created, and after creating, He is the one who runs the system. The order is also His. He is the sustainer. And it is said that neither drowsiness nor sleep overtakes him. Whatever is in the heavens and the earth belongs to him. Who is there that can intercede before him without his permission? He knows what is before the people and what is behind them, and they cannot encompass any part of his knowledge. Yes, except as much as he wills, as much knowledge as he grants. His throne encompasses the heavens and the earth, and their guardianship does not tire him. He is the Most High, the Supreme. In another place, it is said, and he is the forgiving, the loving, the Lord of the throne, the glorious, the doer of what he intends. He is the one who forgives sins, the one who loves his servants, the owner of the throne. And there is nothing except that he glorifies his praise, and there is nothing in the heavens and the earth that is not under his command. The kingdom of the heavens and the earth indeed belongs to him. Truly, everything except his essence is perishable. In his hands lies the power of decision. There is nothing like him, and he is the all-hearing, the all-seeing. And if Allah afflicts you with a hardship, there is none who can remove it except him. And if he bestows goodness upon you, there is none who can withhold his grace and mercy to whomever he wills among his servants. And he is the forgiving, the merciful. And if Allah afflicts you with a hardship, there is none who can remove it except him. And if he bestows goodness upon you, there is none who can withhold his grace and mercy. Why does the system create opportunities? He distinguishes with his grace whomever he wills among his servants, and he is the forgiver, the merciful. Now, the Holy Quran is filled with such verses. I have recited a few verses that evoke the attributes of Allah, giving us an understanding of what he is. When we read Surah Al-Fatiha, it also evokes this understanding. All praise is due to Allah, Lord of all the worlds. This understanding of Allah emerges, and the concept of Islam, according to this, is the same as what all the prophets brought. However, the current situation is such that he is the master of the Day of Judgment. This understanding of Allah emerges, and the concept of Islam, according to this, is the same as what all the prophets brought. However, the current situation is such that it is that the concept of Islam regarding Allah is completely different from all other religions, because Allah sent the Holy Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, as the last prophet, and has taken the responsibility that there will be no change or distortion in this religion, in the Holy Quran, and in the interpretation of the Holy Quran. After this question, I return to my discussion that we had started. We were discussing some aspects of science and Islam. In this era, we come across a strange thing that science has described, and that is chlorophyll. When water is poured on a plant, a green substance is produced, which is called chlorophyll. This chlorophyll, in the fields, the cultivation of fruit is caused by this discovery of that era. During the time of the Holy Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, when the Holy Quran was revealed, no one was aware that a major cause and source of the production of fruits and seeds is chlorophyll, the green substance. But now, please judge. fairly and read and listen carefully to this verse of the Holy Quran. This is verse number 99 of Surah Al-An'am. The command of Almighty Allah is, He is the one who sent down water from the sky, and through it He brought forth every kind of plant and created the green substance in it. From it He produced grains arranged in layers. He is the one who sent down water from the sky. He brought forth every kind of plant through it. And from it He produced green substance. So we brought forth from it green substance, producing from it grains arranged in layers. The Quran statement that from this green substance we produce heaps of grains, and saying this in that era, it is evident that the people of that time would not have understood this, that how heaps of grains are produced through the green substance. In those times, there was no concept of chlorophyll. But in today's era, a person who has studied science and knows that chlorophyll was discovered in the 20th century, and the importance of the green substance was realized, and that it is through this green substance that heaps of grains are produced. Then he cannot help but say that this speech is indeed the word of Allah, because such things were not known to anyone in that era. There are many more such things that we will discuss further, related to the Quran. And the last of our call is praise be to Allah.